my scrappy friends, welcome to my channel today. I am working on a spread for my mini album for Megan and I's wedding series where we're working on our wedding photos. So I am doing a mixed media mini album and I am using the Vicki Boutin Flower Emporium mixed media album from 49 and Market. I think I said that. Anyway, so I have a whole bunch of different page protectors, which I didn't show you that part of me going through them, just kind of trying to figure out. I'm looking through my photos going, what ones what do I want to use? Because I knew I wanted to use this part, which then I realized that I put them in backwards, so I'm going to have to fix that in my album, but that's okay. And then I decided I'm going to use this photo, but I still wanted to use this other page protector. So I'm just kind of farting around trying to figure out, like, what do I want to do? And I'll probably figure that out. I didn't add any photos to the other size, which is like 3x3 and 2x2 sizes, which I really like that size. It's pretty fun. It's a Simple Stories page protector. I just punched out the holes so that they would fit in the other mini album. It doesn't really bother me. If it does bother you, then you can always look for different page protectors or a different album. Different manufacturers make their inserts a little bit different, so sometimes the holes don't quite fit, but that's okay. And so then I'm also going to be doing a 6x8 side, and that one's going to have that bigger photo. I'm going to have to add a lot of pages. There are quite a few of the pages from Vicki Boutin, and I'm just measuring this because I have to cut a white side because I'm not using that blue pattern that is on there, and it's not bad, but I just don't think it's going to work. So honestly, I'm trying to keep the colors similar to what our wedding photo colors are, which were a pink, or like different color pinks, and black, and like sage green. So even that green that's there, I may use it or I may not. I don't know. We'll see. Because I do have a lot of stuff that is like closer to that color. We'll see. This page I didn't do a ton of mixed media on. You'll see what I do. It's just very, very mild and simple. And I really just worked with layering on this one. It's kind of been a busy week. So, and actually Megan and I got this out a lot later than we wanted to, but that's okay. So we're doing this for fun. So, and really at the end of the day, the more I've documented my wedding photos, and I don't have a ton, we didn't use like a professional photographer or anything. And my son took photos and my friend used my camera and took some photos. So we have some of like the wedding party and some of us around. And of course, I think that some of my photos like kind of, I don't know if they disappeared or what, because I printed some stuff out and then I was going to reprint them out this week because I don't necessarily like all the sizes. If anybody has any suggestions for a good app or a good template that does like 3x4, 3x3, and like 4x6 type or 4x4 sizes, that would be awesome, because I think that's where my downfall is that those are the sizes that I generally like to scrap, and those are, I don't use Adobe, so I kind of just I was putting things into just the pages, and I feel like I don't have as much control over the size, and I want to get as much out of my paper. And I tried to do a template with ChatGPT, and that was quite interesting. So then they weren't so good with that, and I even tried on Gemini, because sometimes you can do stuff like that, so I don't know. Anyway, so I just might have to go back to using the Project Life app, which is fine. I just lose a lot of paper, and I'd rather not have to do that. Anyway, and since this has a lot of like already sized stuff, you know, like the 3x3, the 4. So anyway, So I had that issue a lot with some of the pictures that I already printed out. I'm just going to reprint them in a different size so that they fit better on this album, because that's the nice thing about doing it in a smaller size. You can make your photo smaller, and some photos you don't need really big, and I will do some of these photos probably in a bigger layout too, but or maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a ton of photos because we didn't really want a ton of photos. We didn't want a really big wedding. So we had just a small wedding party, and just a really small amount of people that came. And we just wanted it to just be a fun little celebration, but nothing like major. For both me and my husband, this is our second married wedding, so we didn't want to spend a ton of money. And I think I spent less on this wedding than I did on my original wedding. So even when I first got married, which I was in college, actually both me and my ex were in college that time too. But anyway, so it was really nice. We did it in the backyard, and it was in June. And it ended up being a really lovely day, which sometimes in June is hit or miss. But so like I said, I'm focusing on layering. So I'm just gonna layer, and I will apologize that some of this did not film. I'm not sure if I accidentally forgot to hit film when I was doing some of it or what. So I start this part out, and I know I want to use flags and tickets, and so I'm going to insert these, and then it's going to jump ahead to where it's mostly done. I did use that Posca pen to put hearts on that background, and I covered a lot of them up, but that's okay. That's half the fun about this kind of stuff. So, and the other spread that I did a lot of mixed media. So this one I wanted to keep it kind of simple, because I don't want everything to be super mixed media and stuff. I want to keep it kind of simple, because then then I know I'll get it done, because that part is part of my problem with doing mini albums, is I overcomplicate it because I want it looking really nice and I want it to be in my style. And sometimes that just doesn't translate. I don't know if anybody else has that. So here I am. You can see I have a little bit more layering on there. Not a whole lot more. I did dig into some of my Maggie Holmes stuff. And then I had that little heart that was from one of my digital collections that I made last year. And I also have that card on the side that says "Be Mine." And I wanted to add that to that side, but then I decided not to, because it doesn't match the green in the rest of the green. I thought it just was a little bit too blue. So I'm going to do it on the other side, I think. And I did have to cut it down because that's not a true 3x3 size card size. And then I just used some of this old Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I really like the white. I need to get some Dina Wakley, the white gloss, because I think that would look even better. But anyway, so that was all that I did on that spread. Just really simple, but lots of layering. And I did add that tag from 49 Market. It has a little bit of pink in it, and I use that. I think that was just a foam sticker that says "I love us." And that photo is just our wedding party, and we did a funny photo. That's the fun thing about me and my husband. We really like to joke around. Actually, me and my family, we really like to joke around. So photo time is always like fun, which, used to irritate me a little bit when I was first scrapbooking, because I see everybody have such lovely family photos, and I'm like, my family always has to do silly photos. And then I realized, you know what? This is my family, and I'm documenting my family, not somebody else's. And why be frustrated? And I think that just kind of came with time. So as you can see, I'm working on the 2x2 cards, and this is what I'm going to focus on. The rest of them, I figure I probably just put photos in there. I think that'll be the best way to do that. I did this with Megan's album. I think she shared that. So if I can find the link, I'll share it. If not, I'm definitely linking to her channel and stuff. So, and I did little inserts like this on hers, and I embellished the 2x2 squares and then left the other bigger squares so that she could put photos and stuff in. And I really like that, because then you have a small space to do something really fun, but it's not overwhelming. It's such a small, because it's such a small space, it's not a big space. So I just used the papers that I used on the other side, except for that wood grain. I don't think I used the wood grain, but that's okay. And I just add this to it, and then I'm going to add some 3D embellishments to the top of the two end sides, and then that middle one I'm going to put some stuff on the inside, and that one is inside. And I do pop this up a little bit. I end up doing like some banner flag things, kind of similar to what was going on the other page, so they'll match really nicely, but not, or coordinate I should say, but they're not going to be all matchy because that's not my style either. And I have to have dimension. Now, I had a glue overload in here, which you're not going to see because I think I took care of it. I have a little bit of space from where that glass mat is. And so anyway, it's so super fun. I had to clean up. It spilled out all over the place. I love that Eileen's glue, but it just spills out so fast. So this is almost the end of this. I'm just going to add that typewriter, and then I find another thing that says grateful. It's a little bit more gray green than it is the other colors, but I thought about using that Maggie Holmes one, but I just felt like the pattern, the floral pattern didn't match the floral on that paper. So, and I also wanted to use that peachy Maggie Holmes paper from the Chasing Dreams, but it was just a little bit too much. So I do find this, and I add that, and I was going to add another one, and then I was like, I'm just going to keep it simple. So I think that's the hardest part for me, is keeping this simple, but I really like how it turned out, and it's going to be really fun. So there's that grateful, and it's similar enough that I think it works really nice. And then I add this flower that has a little bit of that peachy color, a pinky peach, but not overwhelming, and then that little sticker that says I love you, and I kind of played around before I decided to just leave it there. So thank you guys for watching, and go check out Megan's video if you haven't. See you guys later. Have a great scrappy week.